This is the cool part. Everyone here starts with the same, and yet one person's the victor and one person isn't. Why?
Hey guys, today we're gonna talk about Monopoly and how it's going to help you understand the market and really find the greatest success you can possibly find. So we're gonna talk about understanding property values, the art of negotiation, financial management, risk and reward, the importance of diversification, and leave you with some conclusion. And that is all. So let's jump right in. Could a game you've played since childhood be the key to unlocking success in the real estate market? Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm Amir. I'm an engineer turned realtor. I've been doing this for 15 years. The purpose of these videos is to really share educational content, provide transparency into the market that I've come to love. I want to dispel some of the most common myths and really just interact with you because that's where I get the most joy. Interacting with people, meeting people, and providing value in whatever way I can. So if you like these videos, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and let's get going. I have been playing Monopoly since I was a kid. I think I was introduced to the game around 10 or 11 years old. I've got two brothers. We're highly competitive. We love the game, and we've been playing it since we were kids. Recently, my in-laws basically banned it from playing with them because we get so competitive, and I think they don't know how to play the game. So I decided that I'm going to shoot a video and teach you how I play Monopoly and how it really relates to the real estate market as a whole and how it's really helped me form my thoughts and find success in the market. And hopefully it can do the same for you. So I'm sure you've played Monopoly, and if you haven't, well, welcome. It's the best game ever. Let me just explain for those of you who've never played or maybe you need a refresher. Monopoly, basically you've got 10 on each side, and then players basically choose whatever player they want to start with. You got 2 dice, you roll, you got some cards, chance and community chest, and that's basically it. You got properties here, you got railroads, which is basically your infrastructure for transit, and then you've got utilities, so think of them like your gas company or electrical company, so Enbridge or Toronto Hydro. The objective of the game is to not go bankrupt. Last man standing wins, so that's a little bit different relative to the real estate market. In real estate, you just want to play your own game, but there's a lot of parallel lessons that you can take from this game. So let me kind of tie it in for you, okay? So these are kind of like entry-level properties. This would be like neighborhoods like on the west, let's say like Corso Italia, or maybe like East York, or like East Danforth, okay? And this side here, you got a little bit higher tier. So you're looking at things like maybe, I don't know, in Etobicoke, parts of the beaches, maybe not the true beach, something like that. This area, you're getting a little bit higher, right? So maybe you're in the beach, maybe you're in High Park, Bloor West Village, maybe you're in like, I don't know, Leslieville, a little bit higher price points. And then these guys are your kind of cream of the crop. This is like Yorkville, whatever else is overpriced in Toronto is right over here. In Monopoly, everyone starts with $1,500, okay? And then you choose yours. Mine is my little doggy over here. I've loved it from the start. And Roxy, our Schnauzer, may she rest in peace. This is Roxy. So I play in honor of her. And then whoever else can play with me. Today, I'm just playing against myself. $1,500 is what I start with, just like real life. You have a set budget, you have some sort of money, you're trying to get into the market. This is what everyone starts with. Bit different than real life, because some people start with, more money than others. But don't worry, this is the cool part. Everyone here starts with the same, and yet one person's the victor and one person isn't. Why? So now that you understand property values, let me show you how we actually buy properties. Now traditionally, this is how most people play. You roll the dice. Oh look, I got doubles, so that means I can roll again. So in this case, I went to community chest, whatever, I take a card. So I'll tell you what I look at it as. So it says collect $10. Wonderful. I could use $10, so I take my 10. And this I equate to kind of like chance in life. Sometimes you win something or somebody gives you money, you come into money. That's precisely what this is. And sometimes you lose money. So that's the chance of the game, and it relates to life perfectly. I roll again, I got a 9. So in this case, I go 8, 9. And so basically here, I'm on St. Charles Place. Now this is a mid-tier property. Traditionally, when you land on a property, you have the option of purchasing it or simply passing and it's the next player's turn. However, the way I play with my brothers is really simple. We take our phones, and in this case, $140 for this property. And every player that's there, so if you're playing with multitude of players, you all get about 10 seconds to drop your phone with the calculator and the number that you're willing to pay. It's $140. But you might be willing to pay more, or you might be willing to pay less. This is very similar to the real estate market, not just in the GTA, but just generally anywhere. It's up to you how much you want to pay in this property. It's 140 bucks, but you might value it at something greater. I don't know, maybe you own the other properties. Or maybe you're thinking about trading it later on with somebody who wants it to create a monopoly. And because of that, that's precisely why the way we play this game, in our opinion, is way truer than simply having the option to buy or not. Because guess what? That's not real. When you go to buy a property in Toronto, there might be 10 other buyers that are looking for it. So it's up to you. You're either willing to buy it for a price that the seller is willing to accept, market value or above, or you're simply going to pass. No different here. So I'm going to talk about how I look at purchasing these properties. So guys, it's really simple. You take your calculator out. This is 140. I'm going to show you what I'm willing to bid on this property. Remember, I haven't bought anything yet. This is the first property I've landed on, so I have $1,500. Every time I pass go, I collect another $200. That's kind of like, you know, I get money every time in life, same thing. In this case, the same. Maybe it's rental income, maybe it's my income that I'm getting, right? Every month I get an influx of money. Same idea every time I press go. I haven't bought a property. It's my turn. There are other players. I'm going to put my bid in, and this is what I'm willing to pay for this property. $200. Now you're probably thinking you're nuts. This thing is 140 bucks. Why are you paying 200 bucks for it? Real simple. These guys here are entry-level properties like I told you from the beginning. And the way we look at these, or at least the way I look at it is, this is cheapest point of entry. They are valuable properties, especially once you build houses, once you build hotels, they will be landed on and they'll make you money. It's cheap point of entry and it gives me the opportunity to get into the market early, get something that I can use either by creating a monopoly or leverage it to trade later on with someone else in the game. And later on, I can either mortgage it if I need the money to buy something else or sell it right off. Again, or use it as a trading tool. This is a great little tool for me. Either I use it or I give it to someone else in exchange for something. Money and properties, some positional advantage in the game. This property is worth a lot to me, so are these. These bad boys, on the other hand, depends. Not at the beginning of the game, later in the game. Because remember, I get to bid on any property anytime anyone rolls. That's the way we play it. So it's not like you roll and you land on this and you can simply outright buy it. I just have to make sure I position myself in a way where I'm not going bankrupt before you and I have enough properties strategically placed around the board to be able to trade and last longer than you. So here's St. Charles Place, and if somebody, for the sake of simplicity, outbid me, so I gave 200 and somebody gave 250, it would be theirs. But in this case, I'm playing against myself. When I bought it and I gave 200 and the other bidder was lower than me, so I take St. Charles Place. And just remember, right now at the early stage of the game, just like real life, I may not really stand to gain much. I mean, the rent here is 10 bucks and I'm buying it for 200. I need somebody to land on this 20 times before I get my money back. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because I'm really not in the position to create a monopoly yet. I'm just using this. You'll pay me rent. I may get lucky enough to be able to purchase one, if not both of these, or later trade it with you because you have an added advantage because you hold the other two. So this is a valuable property for me, and the same logic applies to any of these properties. As you get more expensive, it's this equivalent of doing your very first renovation with a set budget in Yorkville. In Yorkville, properties are naturally more expensive. And so you're starting off and you end up spending, let's say, $400, which is almost 1/3 of your entire cash reserve. This makes no sense because you're not going to be able to purchase other properties and you're going to fall behind. Cost of acquisition is greater, cost of building is greater, you're going to end up running out of cash and going bankrupt. Remember, the objective of the game is to keep your cash and grow. Here, I rolled a 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Oh shit, so I ended up rolling a 3. Now let's just imagine I rolled a 4 for the purpose of this example. I'm on Pennsylvania railroads. Now one of the most prized strategies in this game for me is to literally take all the railroads I can. Railroads are infrastructure. There are Bloor Line and there are University Line, and actually quite true to Toronto, we don't really have that many subways, do we? So properties that are in and around our subway or infrastructure are super, super valuable because we literally only have 2 lines. And look, 4 railroads, that's all. So if somebody else lands on them, they're gonna want them too. Now the beauty of these railroads, if you ever played this game, is like this. If you own 1, you get 25 bucks each time someone lands on it. You get 2, you get 50 bucks each time someone lands on it. You own 3, you get 100 bucks each time someone lands on it. And when you have 4, you get $200 every time someone lands on any one of the railroads. That's phenomenal. So let me talk about why that's so phenomenal. Every single one of the railroads costs you $200 to buy. So at the very first time you own one of them, it would take you 8 times for someone to land on it for you to pay yourself back. But if you own 2 of them, you get 50 bucks. That takes you 4 times. If you own 3 of them, it literally takes you twice. It's $100 now. But if you own 4 of them, Every time someone lands on it, it's as if they paid you for a $200 railroad outright. Your objective in this game, beyond all the properties, is to own as much infrastructure as possible. These bad boys and the utilities as well, but these more than anything. And in life, that means be close to transit lines. It increases your property value more than you know, because literally, this is it. Same thing with Toronto. You literally only have the Bloor line, University line. What else do you got? The LRT. It took them like 10 years to build that stupid thing on Eglinton. So nothing else is coming. Get close to the subway and infrastructures that are already existing. How much am I willing to pay for one of these railroads? I'll tell you right now. For the very first one that I land, I'm willing to pay no less than $300. Because I told you, the return on investment once you own 2, 3, or 4 is ridiculous. My objective is to own as many of these as possible, because later in the game, what ends up happening is sometimes I'll end up with 1 or 2 of them. And then basically in a trade, I'm trying to accumulate all of them or leverage the ones I have and give them, but never for cheap. Because if someone's holding 2 of them and they want the other 2, they're willing to pay me primo bucks. Perhaps at that point, I own something in the more luxurious section of town, and therefore I need money so that I can build homes and eventually turn them into hotels. Now, the likelihood that someone will land on them is a lot less. However, when they land on these expensive properties, I'm gonna get paid handsomely. For example, with a hotel, I get paid $2,000. $2,000. That is literally 10 times more than if I owned all 4 railroads. So later in the game, I may strategically decide I'm gonna sell off the railroads to someone who wants to basically benefit from having all 4. Sets me back a little bit, because if I land on them, I pay $200, but if they land on mine 1 time, they pay me 10 times what I would have paid them. Or the reverse could be true. I like the railroads more, and you'll see why. Because every time someone turns, there's a railroad. So the likelihood someone's landing on that is really great. You're gonna probably win the game just owning these damn railroads and maybe 1 or 2 monopolies. Diversification. Now this is really important. If you own monopoly, for example, you own a monopoly here, or you own a monopoly here, that's fine on 1 row. But like I said before with the railroads, the best thing about the railroads is that they're on every single row. So anytime someone's going, it's not like, you know, I have hotels here, and if you pass them, I have to wait for you to go around all the way again. Once you own the railroads, the likelihood that you're gonna drop on one of these is very high, or the other players in the game. So I'm gonna get paid $200 by you potentially if I own all 4, $200 by somebody else. I'm accumulating cash at a rapid rate. But diversification is also very key, because let's say you are skipping on these. I wanna own monopolies ideally not just in 1 row, but rather on multitude of rows. Because somebody's like just getting lucky, rolling doubles, 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 they're just bypassing me every time. So if I own something here and here, statistically the way that the dice work, your odds of passing me are basically slim to none. Come home to daddy, baby. Give me some of that cash. Another thing I want to talk about is basically the value of your cash. Monopoly is very similar to real life, especially now when inflation's high. At first, you start with $1,500, and that's great. Everyone else starts with $1,500. But as the game progresses and more things are bought and houses are built, your money is worth less. Because like I said, at first when you land on something, right? In this case here, it was $10 that you have to pay me. But as I put a house on it, or I put 2 houses, it goes from $10 to $50 with 2 houses. Eventually, if I have a hotel on it, you owe me $750. So if you go around just trying to preserve your cash, ultimately you're gonna fail at the game, you're gonna go bankrupt first. Because you need to keep up with everyone else who's now basically getting your cost of living to increase. And therefore, if you don't own assets that essentially pay you back and make sure that your money doesn't devalue, by giving you more money, because your money currently is worth less now. You gotta pay this guy $750 on a hotel, when before at the start of the game you could pay him 10, you're gonna get out. So therefore, you need to keep up and understand the value of your money decreases as the game continues. Buy strategically, buy for the sake of being able to trade, and when you equate it to something like real estate, buy land. You can build on land. Buy homes that you can possibly sell to a builder. Land assembly is key. Builders need a condominium, let's say around Yonge and Eglinton. A lot of those homes, if you basically buy a row of them, eventually a builder will be coming knocking on your door and saying, listen, I need all this land, and you'll say, great, what are you willing to pay me for it? Same idea here. Buying a piece of the puzzle where everyone else might need it later on is strategically thinking ahead and ensuring that you get maximum value for the purchase you make today. There's a lot more that I can say about the game of Monopoly, but I've said a lot in this video. If you're an enthusiast, or if you simply want to talk about something that I've said that might relate to your plans in real estate, then by all means reach out. I love this game. I love real estate. I love strategically thinking of how today's moves will get us ahead tomorrow. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Do comment, because it really fuels me to come up with new ideas, or if you have some other ideas as to how Monopoly might parallel real estate, what your experience is, we'd appreciate it. And watch some of the other videos. It might help you in whatever it is you're doing today. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.